Hey everyone, how you doing? My name's Sammy and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you've joined me for today's yoga practice. This one we're going to be doing seated, okay? So this makes it super adaptable for your lifestyle. You might be able to take it to work or on holidays and use the movements of our practice when you're in extended periods of seating, okay? So, as we move through the flows and poses, it might be an opportunity to, lengthen muscles, get some blood flowing, and yeah, just get the joints moving, okay? We want to find a comfortable seat to sit on. So if you are doing this at the office, do be careful if you're on wheels. And yeah, something preferably without arms. But in saying that, whatever chair you've got, just make sure that, it's safe to use. That's the main thing. Okay. So it's not essential that it doesn't have wheels or it doesn't have arms. Just make sure that your chair is nice and sturdy. We want to honor our body and how it's feeling today. So, we're not going to rush through this practice. We might be spending like 3 to 5 breaths in one pose and maybe a couple of breaths in the other. So, we're just going to take our time. Please feel free to not do the poses if you don't feel comfortable doing them in your body today. And if you want to stay a little longer in some of them, that's okay as well. All right. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. I'll offer these and guide you through the cues, but again, this is your practice. Yeah, and I think that's about it. We're going to work through a little bit of a vinyasa flow at the beginning and the end of our practice, move through some poses that will hopefully use most of our body parts, front and back, side to side, top and bottom. Yeah, and if you're ready, we're going to begin. So I'm going to start with some time just to connect with myself through my body, my breath, and my mind. And you might like to set an intention for your practice. What would you like to get out of today's yoga practice? And I think for me, it's just a little bit of self care, but yours might be completely different. Okay. And that's totally okay. We need to honor what our body needs. So let's start with a little bit of time just settling in, feeling sturdy in our chair. So we want a comfortably upright spine. So this week during my yoga classes, we've been talking about sthira, steadiness, and sukha, and being easeful, and how we can maybe find a balance of that through our yoga practice. So we can kind of adapt this for this yoga practice today. So we feel steady in our seat. We feel a sense of connection with our bottom to the chair, our feet on the floor, and a lengthening to our spine. But where can we find a sense of ease? Maybe just letting the shoulders softly drop away from the ear, the head to be easeful on the neck. Not putting too much effort into our facial muscles. We can soften them a little bit here too. And then just take some time to notice how the breath is moving in and out of the body of its own volition, not forcing or chasing perfection, just a natural breath moving easefully in and out of our bodies. You may notice the shoulders shrugging up and down with every inhale and exhale. And just do a little bit of observing inward, taking some time in stillness before we start to move our amazing bodies. Just a few more breaths here. All right, so we're going to begin our vinyasa flow. Now, you might have noticed I've got my chair on a little bit of an angle here, and I thought this might be a better way of seeing some of the poses. Okay, so from here, I'm going to bring my hands to my heart space and gently roll the shoulders away from my ears. Again, I've got my back off the chair because some of the poses that we're going to be doing today will need a little space between our spine and the back of the chair. So, make sure you feel steady in your seat, but do see if you can bring your back off the chair. So from here, we're going to take a nice big rise up, lift up through our heart. And if it's okay for your shoulders, lift your arms above your head. And then on the exhale, we're going to bring the hands down by our side into mountain. And then we can take an in breath, lean a little bit forward and come into our chair pose. And then on the exhale, pop our hands on our lap and fold the body forward into forward fold. So just let the head drape down. On your inhale, we're going to come halfway up into half lift, or Ardha Uttanasana. And then we're going to exhale the breath and allow our head to again just loll down. We've got a soft curve of the spine. On your in-breath, we can lift the gaze, release the arms, come up into our chair pose, kind of like we're hovering off the seat, and then exhale into mountain here. We'll just take a few breaths and let that little vinyasa flow land into our bodies. And then from here, we're going to start to be moving through some static poses, okay? Now, I just want you to breathe your natural breath. Do what's good for you, okay? So no holding your breath. So the first thing we're going to be doing is cat pose. And from here, like I said, we just want a bit of space between our back and the back of the chair. We will sweep our hands forward and we're going to tuck the hips and the chin so we find a little bit of rounding or hollowing of the front of our bodies, and rounding, like we're trying to push our spine towards the back of the chair. So reaching forward with the hands, and you can even connect the fingers together or turn them inside out. Have a little play with your options. And we want to see if we can open up through the vertebrae, the back of the rib cage. All the muscles of our back are getting a nice sense of lengthening here into the lower back. Can feel into our feet. Taking one more breath here. And then we're going to do a counter pose. We'll do cow pose. We're going to sweep back, bring the heart through, even the belly as well. A little bit of a lift in the chin here. So we're opening up through the front of the body. The front of our shoulders, our chest, our belly. Taking a few more breaths here. And then from here, roll the shoulders in line with the ears. We'll reach up, stretch up as tall as you can. And then we're going to bend over to the side. So we're tipping over to the left and then anchoring down our bottom cheek on particularly the right one, okay? So obviously we don't want to tip out of the chair. So really focus on pushing the right foot, the right bottom, push it down, anchor it down. But also finding a sense of expansion right through the right side of our body. We're going to lift up. And then from here, before we do the other side, we're going to come into cactus arms and we're going to rotate to the left. So as much as our body will let us, gently pull the elbows back. And we can gaze over our left shoulder or even shut our eyes here. So while our torso is finding a sense of steadiness and stability, we can, explore a sense of ease through our gaze, the notch in the throat. Let's come back to center, rise up with the arms, lift the heart space. And then we're going to tip over to the right this time. So we're, kind of melting the left bottom and the left foot down to the ground. Reaching up right through the left side of our body. And then when you're ready, we can lift up, come into those cactus arms again, and we're rotating to the right this time. So as we go into these single-sided movements, you might find one side of your body you're holding a little bit more tightness than the other. You have a little bit more mobility than on one side to the other, and that's really normal. Taking a few more breaths here. And then let's come back to center. So before we move on to the next pose, we're actually going to be taking little rebound breaths. So we'll spend about 3 or 4 breaths just sitting into ourselves and letting those poses land, okay? So just comfortably upright spine. We can soften the gaze, relax the shoulders. Just notice any sensations that might be coming up, or if you feel a little bit more different than when you first started your practice. All right, so our next pose that we're going to be doing is eagle arms, and then we're going to counterpose that with cow face pose. Okay, so they're both upper body poses. So with the eagle arms, we're working on opening up through the back, particularly the shoulder area. And then when we come into cow face, we're opening up through the front and particularly around the chest and shoulder area. I'll add variations for this as well. So you just pick out what's good for your body today. So we're going to start with the left side, and I'm actually going to incorporate my feet as well, crossing the left ankle over right. And then I'm going to bring my arms out away from each other and then start to bring the elbows either together. Of course, our shoulder mobility is quite different from one person to the other, so pick what's good for you. So you either got your elbows as close together as possible and your forearms, or you can sweep your left arm underneath your right and do a kind of little bit of a twisty turny thing here with your forearms. Okay, so from here, I'm going to add some little extra cues, and you can either do one, do all of them, or just do what's good for you. So from here, we're going to lift up the elbows from the chest, bring the arms a little bit away from the face, and tuck the chin to the throat and allow the head to just loll forward. So let's hold this pose for about 4 breaths. It's quite strong, so if you need to come out a little earlier, that's okay. One more breath. All right, now we're going to release our eagles, let them fly. And then from here, we're going to counterpose that with cow face pose. So we'll keep the legs crossed, and we're going to bring our left palm, the palm of our left hand, on the back of our head to start, and the back of our right hand on our lower back. And then begin to draw the elbows back just slightly so we feel a sense of opening through the shoulders, okay? And then you can work on whether you want to take this a little bit further by bringing the palm of the left hand down the spine and the back of the right hand up the spine. Okay, now don't get too concerned if your fingers don't touch. I know if I do this on one side and then the other, they're quite different. One side will touch and the other side it won't, and that's really normal. So from here, once you've picked your option, just maintain a gentle pull of the elbows back so we can keep the chest open. Try not to arch the spine too much. We'll keep it upright, and then we can just softly gaze or even shut the eyes. So nice opening up through the front of our body, through the shoulders. One more breath. And then let's release our cow face. Maybe give our shoulders a little shimmy shake. And then we'll uncross our legs and pop the right one over the left this time. And then we'll repeat the same poses with the right arm as the dominant arm. So we're going to bring the forearms together as option 1, or sweep the right under left. Give it a little twist. Okay, so from here, go through our little cues. We can lift the elbows off the chest, gently draw the forearms away from the face, and then we can tuck the chin to the throat. One more breath. Nice. Let's start to release our eagles, let them fly free. And then from here, we're coming into our cow face. So we bring our right hand to the back of the head and the back of our left hand to our lower back. Gently pull back the elbows and just see if this is where your stretch through the front of the shoulders is landing today. And then if you want to, you can have the option of working the right hands down the spine and the left hand up the spine. And then gently, once you've picked your spot that feels good, focus on a tall but comfortable spine. Draw the elbows gently back, just so you can feel a sensation of opening up through the shoulders. Relaxing the jaw. One more breath here. Lovely. Let's release. give them a little bit of a shake, release our little crossover with our ankles, and then we're going to hit the pause and just take some time to allow those poses to land in our body. All right. So we're going to give the upper body a little break here and start to move our lower body. So as we move our legs around a little bit, do make sure that you're feeling nice and steady in your seat. So for the first one, we're going to come into a wide-legged position. Now, I'm going to shuffle forward a little bit, okay, because I want to feel that sense of anchoring or grounding through the feet, okay? So from here, our knees are out as wide as we feel comfortable. We're going to take a hinge forward. Now we can pop our hands where it feels good. I'm going to kind of rest them on my knees for now and take a nice inward breath, get a little bit of length through the spine, and then on the breath out, we can start to lean forward. Now from here, you can keep your hands on your knees. You can bring your elbows to your knees. Or if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can start to work your way so your hands come down to your ankles. So we can allow some rounding of the spine here. So pick where you want to go with this. Again, just make sure that you feel nice and steady on your chair. Allow that exhale breath to soften a little bit through the lower back, through the hip joints, the shoulders away from the ears. One more full deep breath in. Let it go. And then when you're ready, pop your hands on your knees. Start to lift your gaze, gently press through the palms of your hands. And we're going to add a little twist to this. So reaching up, getting that lovely length to the spine. We're going to rotate to the left, land the hands. Once we've done that, we're going to take another big deep breath in. And then exhale and just maintain that comfortable upright spine. So while we're in this twist, you might like to pull yourself around a little bit with your right hand. Keep your left knee out to the side. And then see if we can find areas of softness here as we, again, the twist is quite active. So maybe we can find areas of smoothness and ease. It might be something as simple as our breath, just focusing on not taking big gulping breaths, just allow the breath to flow naturally. Now let's take a couple more breaths here before we start to move our bodies. And then when you're ready, we're going to rise up and then land around to the other side. So we'll be looking over the right. Inhale a little taller into your seat and exhale, settle in. It's really lovely to bring the spine through different ranges of motion, forward and back, side to side, and a little twist. A couple more breaths here. And then we're going to come to center, and now we're coming into star pose, Utthita Tadasana. So from here, we're going to reach up with our fingertips as much as we can, lift the heart, maybe straighten the legs out, a bit of a point to the toe, and really find some length through our legs and arms, opening up through the chest. All our muscles are switched on. And then from here, let's drop the heels. We're going to bring the palms to face up, draw the elbows slightly back behind us, coming into goddess pose, Utthita Konasana. Let's do that one more time. Lift up and lengthen. Reach for the stars in our star pose. And then when you're ready, start to drop the heels, bring the feet under your ankles, draw the elbows behind you, coming into your goddess pose, shining the heart forward. Nice. Let's bring the hands to rest on the lap. We can help pick up the feet, come to center. And again, let's just take a little pause here and allow those poses to just land into our body. See how we feel. All right, so now I'm going to come into some single-legged movements. So from here, we're going to do a single-legged forward fold. So we'll pick up the left foot, take it out the side slightly, and then with the right foot, stretch it out. Again, I'm going to have a little wiggle in my chair here. So I've stretched my right foot out the front a little bit. I'm going to fold over my right foot. So taking a nice big deep breath in. Exhale, keep the spine straight. And when you get to a point where you really like to just roll and melt your belly over your thigh, let's do that. So we can let the hands rest on our knee. We can travel them down our leg, whatever feels good. Again, make sure that you feel nice and steady in your seat. And then we can gaze under our chair, let the neck be long. And then from here, start to bring the hands to the top of the knee, gently press through the top of the knee. And we're going to turn this into a warrior two. So lifting up with the arms, and then we're going to stretch out the right arm, or the left arm, roughly in line with the left leg. The right arm's behind us. So from here, think about pressing the feet through the floor, stretching the fingertips from the palms of your hands. We can do a little inhale and shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, and then exhale, roll the shoulder blades down the spine. So our back's quite active here along with our legs and arms. So while they're busy, where can we explore areas of softness? Maybe as we breathe down towards our fingertips. Again, shutting the eyes or relaxing the gaze. And then from here, we're going to flip up the left palm. We can rest the right hand on our right knee. I'm going to turn this into reverse warrior. So we're opening up through the left side of our body. Let that right arm just relax while the left arm does a little bit of work here. Keep feeling into your feet. When you're ready, we're going to spiral up and over and come into side angles. So we can rest our forearm on our knee and then sweep up the right arm to either our ear or over our head in line with our ear. So just do what's accessible for your body. As we lengthen through the right side, opening up a little bit more space along the side of our rib cage, and just pop your gaze wherever it's comfortable for the neck. And then let's do a big sweep up, come to center. And then we can pick up that left leg, come to the middle, and then we'll move on to the other side. So bring up the right foot to the side, left foot stays where it is, and we're going to do our forward fold. Nearly forgot that. Okay, so straighten out the left foot a little bit here. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit of a straightening of the knee. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, lengthen. And then when you're ready for your spine to soften and melt your belly over the thigh, let it go. Let the head relax. And just pop your hands wherever it's comfortable. And then we can start to bring the hands to the top of the knee, gently press up, rise up, and then bring the arms parallel. So we're gazing down the right leg. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, melt those shoulders down away from the ears. And then gaze down towards our right hand. Just one more breath here before we start to move on to our next pose. Turn up the right palm and we're coming into our reverse warrior. So I'm going to pop my left hand on the knee and lift up through the right side of my body. And then when you're ready, we'll come into that side angle on the other side, Uttita Parsvakonasana. We're going to rest our right elbow on our right knee, sweep up the left arm and fix your fingers to your ears or drape your arm over your head. So we can get a little bit of opening here right down the left side of our body. When you're ready, let's spiral out of our side angle. We've got two poses left to go. So I'm going to bring my right foot forward. And the last one, the second last one we're going to be doing is opening up through the front of our body, Ustrasana, camel pose. And then our final one will be our resting pose, Shavasana. Okay, so for camel pose, there's a couple of different ways we can do this. You can bring your hands to your hips. Again, you want to be comfortably upright in your spine. Draw the elbows back. Think about lifting the heart forward and up and then rolling the shoulders a little bit away from the ears here. So we're getting a little bit of a gentle arch of the spine. Quite often this area gets quite tight if we're leaning over a fair bit. So it can feel nice to open up through the front of our body. If you have a chair that you're able to grasp something, you may like to grab the back of your chair. Mine's got a little kind of a backing on it that I can grab into the legs. And yeah, so we just want to find that sensation of opening up through the chest, the throat, and then just be mindful with the neck that we're not cranking the head back, that we have got length in the back of our neck. So maybe just a little tuck of the chin here. And just a few more breaths before we start to move out of this pose. And when you're ready, start to release your grip on the chair or your hips. Roll the shoulders in line with the ears. Take our last rebound. Maybe give ourselves a little gratitude for showing up on our chairs today. Wherever we are, work, holidaying. And then from here, we're going to move on to Shavasana. So this is our resting pose, right? This is where we get to reap the rewards of our practice. So we want to be super comfortable. So I'm actually going to let my back rest on the chair here. Okay. And then you might like to take some releasing breaths to help you relax. Okay. We try these things, see how they go, and be aware that it's really hard to just quieten down sometimes, particularly in the mind. So let's not be hard on ourselves and show a little compassion, embrace what our bodies let us do. So yeah, so we're going to take a nice deep breath in and let it go. And another one here. Release when you're ready. I know it's easy to skip this part, but it is an important part of our practice. So I will gently draw you out of this in about 3 or 4 minutes. Begin to bring some gentle movements back to your body. Allow your breath to guide you. Maybe wiggling your toes, your fingers. Maybe easing your back off the chair. Stretch that you enjoy doing. Gently awaken, not rushing. Opening up your eyes or widening your gaze. Oh, there you are. Okay, so we're going to come together to close today's practice. This is a time that we can show a little gratitude, again, for like showing up today, moving our bodies, and yeah, honoring how we're feeling. And yeah, so let's bring our hands together with a gentle bow as we thank our beautiful and amazing bodies for turning up today, for moving, for being still, for breaths for nourishing us, and for our minds for guiding and supporting us. Thank you so much for sharing today's practice with me, and the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Lovely. Well, I hope you all have a beautiful day or evening whenever you're doing this. If you've enjoyed today's practice, I would love for you to subscribe, share it with anybody that you think might get some benefit out of doing some of these movements in a chair. Like do all the YouTubey things. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. See you later.